Let me start with a simple truth. Failure sucks. Whether it's a botched presentation, a rejected job application, or even a relationship that falls apart. Failure stinks. But what if I told you that failure isn't the end of the road? Tanvir Nasser once said, "While it's understandable that we want to soften the blow of failure, sometimes the best we can do is own the suck." What does it even mean when Nasser says to own the suck? Now, it entails acknowledging the challenges, setbacks, or failures without making excuses to trying to avoid them. Instead, it involves embracing them as a part of the process and using them as for opportunities for growth and learning. The Oxford Dictionary defines failure as lack of success. Let's analyze that. We can perceive failure in so many different ways. Do you see it as a reason to never try again? The concept of failure can be switched around in our minds. We have the ability to transform something negative into something really positive. Importantly, failure is universal. Researchers show that no matter the date in history or the place on the globe, all humans experience failure. All have known some sort of disaster, and all have felt a pain and embarrassment of losing control in a situation and just seeing it blow up in their face. Everybody wants to be perfect, but that's impossible. But there are always pressures to be perfect. When I was younger, I was taught that good grades meant success, whether by my teachers or my parents, and of course that's true, to some degree. But I also grew up believing that failing was the worst mistake that I can make. This belief was reinforced at a private school I attended, where failure was seen as something negative that shouldn't be a part of anyone's life. As years went by, I managed to maintain my perfect grades until I had my first setback, a failed math quiz. That one stumble had a domino effect, not just affecting my grades, but also my mental well-being. I became more anxious about making mistakes, which only led to more failures in tests and subsequent quizzes. Eventually, I turned things around by talking to my parents. They helped me realize that failure is a natural part of life and should be seen as a challenge, not a problem. With their support, I changed my mindset. Now, even when I fail, I see it as an opportunity to learn and improve. Instead of dwelling on my mistakes, I focus on understanding them so that I don't repeat them in the future. As His Highness the Aga Khan wisely said, and I quote, "Everybody makes mistakes. Never regret them, correct them." He reminds us there's no such thing as perfect world or perfect life, unquote. It's time to shift our mindset from striving for perfection to embracing imperfection as a natural part of the human experience. It's through our failures that we learn, adapt, and ultimately progress. There's a growing realization among teachers and other professionals who work with children that kids need help learning how to fail. Not learning to tolerate failures leaves kids vulnerable to anxiety. It leads to meltdowns when the inevitable failure does occur, whether it happens in preschool or college. And perhaps even more important, it can make kids give up trying or trying new things. Imagine being scared to try something new. Something that generally stops us from flipping the tables on the fear is fear. Agoraphobia is a deep-seated fear of failing. It comes from the Greek word aches, which means unfortunate. Folks dealing with this fear tend to dodge situations where failure could occur, like exams, job interviews, or even relationships and career paths. Ironically, avoiding these situations often makes the fear worse, eventually leading to actual setbacks. Agoraphobia can stir up emotional turmoil like shame, depression, or anxiety, and can affect how you handle school, work, and your connection with others. The problem occurs when we connect failure to our self-esteem and worth, usually due to personal expectations that we set for ourselves. This often happens when we connect it towards our hatred. This happens also when there's a missed opportunity, when you can actually avoid it altogether. Failure, when approached positively, offers valuable lessons and insights. It's a chance to learn, grow, and ultimately improve. By embracing failure as a natural part of the process, we can move closer to achieving our goals. For example, Elon Musk. He noticed a problem with space travel and wanted to find a solution, even though he wasn't a rocket scientist. The main issue was the high cost of space missions, so he thought, how can I make this cheaper? His answer was to create a reusable rocket, so he gathered a team and got to work. But things didn't go as smoothly. SpaceX faced many setbacks. Every time they wanted to launch a rocket, the whole world was watching. The first rocket exploded, and it happened again and again and again. These failures were very public and costly, and Musk wasn't the billionaire he is now. However, he didn't give up. He and his team learned from each failure. Musk stayed focused on the next steps, understanding that these failures were just trying to do something new and different, so he learned. Each failure ultimately contributed to groundbreaking innovations and eventual success. He proved to the world that a reusable rocket was possible, changing the way humanity thinks about space travel and making it accessible. Experiencing challenges like the Starship explosion built Elon Musk's resilience, changing his character and fortitude. Each trial has taught him to bounce back stronger, developing the tendency needed to overcome obstacles and achieve success. This demonstrates that failure isn't just a stumble. It's a learning experience that can deepen our understanding of life's complexities. Failure builds resilience, crucial for weathering setbacks on the road to success, fostering the personal growth needed for maturity through reflection and perseverance. A professor of psychology and neuroscience at NYU, Catherine Hartley, explains that failure is a key driver of exploration. She states that when you try something that doesn't work, it's an indication that you need to do something differently. It's a really crucial part of the process of adaptation. Trying out new things, even if they flop, help us ask us questions like, do I enjoy this? Do I like it? These are signals trying to tell us what we need and what we like as we grow up. It's like getting feedback that guides us to either try a different approach or to realize that our plan isn't just as awesome as we thought it was. It's all about learning from the experience. As young people, it's crucial to experiment and face uncertainty to truly understand ourselves. If we only stick to what we're really good at, we'll never find our hidden talents. Failing doesn't matter as much as giving a shot does. Trying out new things help us figure out who we are, even when things don't go as planned. Every experience, successful or not, is a chance to learn and to develop. Picture your journey on a road to success as a road trip. Sometimes you'll cruise along a straight road with ease. Other times, you'll go with twists and turns along the way, and that's totally okay. Regardless of the road you travel, failure is an inevitable part of the process. It's not about avoiding failure, but it's learning how to navigate it with resilience and determination. In a world that tends to glamorize flawless, we need to overlook the fact that every achievement is accompanied by setbacks and stumbles. Take a moment to consider the stories of those we admire. The entrepreneurs, artists, and innovators. They all have encountered failure along the way, but instead of letting it derail their dreams, they used it as fuel for their fire. It's through failure that we discover our strengths, our passions, our capacity for perseverance. Think of it as a tough lesson in the school of life. It may be challenging, but it's where the real learning happens. So let's shift our perspective. Instead of fearing failure, let's embrace it as a necessity pit stop on our road to success. Let's extract the lesson it offers and use them to propel ourselves forward. Embrace the journey, embrace the struggle, learn, and most importantly, embrace failure as a friend, not an enemy. Thank you.